I've been an Apple girl all my life, and it's not because I haven't tried anything else. I'm a tech reviewer in my day job, so I have actually tried out Samsung, Google, nothing phones. Like, I've had hands-on with these phones, so don't get me wrong, I'm not an Android basher, okay? But I am an Apple girl. As everyone says, it just works. And also with anything in life, look where the money's going. Apple sells devices and Google sells data. I think one's probably a little bit more invested in privacy than the other. Anyways, let's get into it. The center of my ecosystem is the MacBook Air M4 13-inch. And she's beautiful. I agonized over this buy. I won't lie to you. Have not regretted it. Just to give you a little background, I've had 3 MacBooks in my lifetime. Each of this MacBook's predecessors lasted over 5 years. I keep my laptops for a long time. I started with the 13-inch MacBook Pro in high school, and it followed me to university, and I did end up having to replace it during university with another MacBook Pro 13-inch. She was gorgeous. That was the last generation, I think, of Intel chips. So that stayed with me through undergrad, postgrad, and part of my first job. I eventually decided to upgrade, and I ended up going with an iPad Pro M2 chip, which is right here, because I wanted the Apple Pencil experience, and paired with the Magic Keyboard, it is a pretty good laptop stand-in for most people. Most people. I stuck with this for a few years, and absolutely still use my iPad to this day, but eventually there were just a few tasks that I wanted a laptop for again. I'm a bit of a hobbyist coder, I would say. I enjoy, in my spare time, building websites and occasionally doing a little game design. So for those things, I very much needed a laptop again. I deliberated over this for ages because, like I said before, I had only owned MacBook Pro devices, and I like to keep my laptops as long as possible. My mindset before was always get a beefier laptop now and it'll last you longer. But the M chips are so good, and I am not made of money, so I eventually took the leap and ended up going with a MacBook Air M4. This thing is amazing. My laptop from work is a last generation Intel MacBook Pro, and this thing blows it out of the water. And it has no fans. It has some hairspray on it right now. There we go. All better, don't mind that. Anyways, this thing is crazy. It's so slender, it's so portable, it's so smooth from video editing to playing Minecraft with a bunch of mods, and it was absolutely worth the money. There is an argument that the bigger ones will last longer because the heat is dispersed in a different way, but I went with the 13-inch anyways because I fly economy and this is just more portable. Like, that 15-inch is not fitting on an economy tray table, okay? So that laptop is the center of everything. I don't have a desktop computer as much as I would love one. I do have a dock on my desk with a monitor set up and all my peripherals and the Magic Keyboard and the Magic Mouse, and I just pop my laptop away and it works just like a desktop would. That is amazing. My other workhorse though is this, like I said, iPad Pro M2. So she's a few years old now. This is only the 11-inch one because the 13-inch, again, massive. I will admit that the 13-inch iPad looks amazing when people are using it as a laptop replacement. I would say I do an equal amount of both. I use it more as a tablet now than I do a laptop replacement. I did use this more as a main device for a while, but now it's usually a peripheral. I'll use it in sidecar mode or just to keep my reminders and my Apple Calendar up while I work, or if I want to work somewhere else in my house that isn't my office. She's beautiful. I love her. Also, if you're wondering, I do have the Paperlike screen on, big note taker here, and if you look closely, you'll see that it is quite, it could use the replacement. One thing I will say about the iPad Pro is that this camera, never use it. Never use it. Like, completely unnecessary. Why is this so beefy? That just seems a bit crazy, but great device. Now, this is where some people are gonna judge me. I also have another iPad. My sweet baby angel. The iPad Mini 6. She is gorgeous. I love her. I wanted one of these for so long. It was genuinely a joke in our office where if we heard a rumor of a new iPad Mini coming out, people would immediately message me, like from all over the company, separately. I love the iPad Mini, but I never had one because I already had, like I said, an iPad Pro. I just couldn't justify paying full price for what was ultimately going to be a secondary device for me. But when news of the iPad Mini 7 came out, I immediately jumped online and bought a refurbished iPad Mini 6, and it was so cheap. I do not regret it at all. I love her. She's also, if I take my little thing up, she's Starlight and she matches my iPad Air. It's the best thing ever. Anyways, love this. This goes basically everywhere with me. I tuck it in bags. It also tends to be the device that I take on planes to watch movies and stuff with. That's like fits so much better, honestly. And it's just so much quicker to pull out of your bag and take notes with it or do whatever you need to do. I do just switch my Apple Pencil back and forth between these two. It's pretty seamless. You just clip it to the side and it switches over automatically. While I have been tempted to buy a second Apple Pencil, it's a bit expensive when you can just swap them over. So this is a gorgeous device for taking everywhere with you. The 6 and the 7 are virtually identical on the outside. The only difference is the chip inside, which means that the 6 cannot actually do Apple Intelligence. That is only for the 7. But because my other devices, my iPad Pro and my laptop and my phone, those all can do the Apple Intelligence stuff, I really didn't feel like I was going to be missing out here. These two devices, when working at a coffee shop or something, flawless. And next up, we have the iPhone. I have a base model iPhone 16. I think this phone is brilliant. Nowadays, if I were looking to upgrade from, say, a 12 or a 13, I would absolutely go with a base 17 because it is a significant upgrade from the 16. I could talk about this for ages, but it's very fascinating to see that Apple has definitely tried to make its base model a lot more appealing over the previous few years, and I think that really all culminated in the release of the 17 series, where you had the more utilitarian Pro models, and then the 17 got a bunch of upgrades that people were wanting forever, like the 120 hertz refresh rate. I was never quite that fussed about it personally, so it's not an immediate upgrade for me. 16 is still living just fine and will do for several more years. It has the action button, it has that upgrade camera button. It is not the best camera, but it is absolutely perfectly fine. It is a very good camera, all things considered. It is not my primary content capture device. That goes to the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 right now, and then I have a couple other cameras that I use. So for me, base model absolutely makes more sense, and I'm very happy with it. Next up, I have the AirPod Pro 2s. These are great. I love them. The noise cancellation for earbuds, crazy. And also I love being able to walk around my house with these on and talk to Siri without having another device on hand. That is very cool. I would love to upgrade to the 3s at some point. This is the only device left that still uses a lightning cable, so I would absolutely love to upgrade her. But I'm not made of money, and these work perfectly well right now, absolutely fine. And most of the things that the 3s can do either were features that have retroactively rolled out to the 2s, or are stuff like, you know, the heart rate sensor, and I think they sense temperature. Don't quote me on that, but all of that stuff works with my Apple Watch. So this is probably the oldest Apple product I have. This is an Apple Watch 5. We are now on the 11. This watch works just fine. I have contemplated updating it before, gotten very close to buying a new one in the past, but I just can't justify it because this watch works fine. There were a couple updates where the battery life got really shitty, and I just had to like restart it and go through a bunch of faff, but once I did that, absolutely fine. The battery life is probably shorter, is definitely shorter than a lot of the watches out there right now, but it's not something that would make a difference in the fact that I need to charge it every night. It's not got all of the sensors that we have in the later generations, but it's very much good enough for me. Still updates, still works perfectly with my iPhone and my everything else. I think it is getting to the point where it might not get any new updates soonish, if it's not already there, which is the only reason I would really look to upgrade it now. Also, I love the idea of taking just my AirPods and my watch out and not taking my phone places with me, which would be really great if I could use cellular. And if you notice, this is a cellular model, but interesting fun fact, I bought this watch in the US when I lived in the US that long ago, and now I live in the UK, and those cellular watches, they're on different like protocols or something. I don't really know the intricacies of it, but you cannot use a US Apple Watch on a cellular plan in the UK. Don't know, don't ask. I've looked into it. It doesn't work. So if I upgraded, I would probably go for an Apple Watch 11 with the cellular option. But for right now, stuff's just fine. Really, the Apple Watches last a very long time. And I'm actually, I would say, kind of emotionally attached to this one, so I kind of don't want to upgrade. But we'll see. If I had spare cash on me, I would either upgrade my AirPods Pro 2 to the AirPods Pro 3, or I would upgrade this watch to something a little bit more current, with the expectation, again, that it will last me another 5 years. Now, I'm also a very big smart home person. As you see, my lights, those are all smart. The center of my smart home is the HomePod Mini. I haven't got it to hand because it's obviously set up in my office right now, but I'll show you some B-roll of that here. The device itself, I've had some issues with. Handoff doesn't always work as well as it should. The other day, I couldn't figure out where the music on it was coming from. It was playing Christina Aguilera. My phone claimed to be playing Panic at the Disco, and my computer said it was playing the Avett Brothers, so I don't know where Christina was coming from, but the HomePod was playing it. So things like that. Bit funny. But if you didn't know, smart homes need a hub. And for Apple, if you're going to use the Apple Home system to tie everything together, you do need either a HomePod or an Apple TV. Either of those can work. And really, the HomePod Mini is the cheapest way to do that. I think it's £99. And it's also a good speaker if you can, you know, get it to behave. Although I wouldn't say it's used on a daily basis by me, it does a lot of heavy lifting in the background with turning on my lights and controlling my temperature and everything in my house. So that is kind of, I would say, an essential for me. Now, the last device that I have is AirTags. As of recording this, I know they have just come out with the AirTag 2. Basically, it's just gonna be more accurate, and I think the distance is a lot bigger. I don't think there are terribly new features with it, so these guys are gonna be sticking around for a really long time. I have 2 of them. It's currently got a nice little Jaguar TCS Racing tag on it, because I've been to the London E-Prix with them a couple times, so thank you guys. Which is probably the best thing I've ever seen in a goodie bag, is just getting Apple AirTags. Like, that is a firm win. So when I travel, one of these goes in my checked luggage and one of them goes in my carry-on. It's just nice for peace of mind. You can make sure it gets on the plane with you. Not that you can do anything to change the fact that it doesn't get on the plane with you if it doesn't, but at least you don't have to sit there on a 9-hour flight wondering. You do know that your stuff is on the way with you. And this is perhaps the laziest thing I do, but when I'm at the airport, I stand with Find My on my phone and I just wait for it to get a signal, and then it'll tell me which direction my luggage is in, so I don't have to go like hunting and like looking through all the tags on my black luggage to figure out which one's mine. My phone just immediately tells me, and I just go right to it. Which is both really lazy, but I also think kind of genius. So love these. I still have never actually bought them myself, but they always have sales on them and stuff, so I mean, I could pick some up if I needed more. So that is my Apple ecosystem. It is by no means every piece of tech I use in my day-to-day life. I have a lot of other things that I like to use along with my Apple system. I thought I'd just like to get in here and give an overview of everything. If you like this, if you want to learn more cool things about what your Apple system can do and how you can use your devices to the best of their capability, then yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow, hit the bell, hit the, yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what's up. See you next time.